האחים קם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת האחים קם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת האחים קם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת האחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת האחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת האחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everybody who's joining us on Zoom and Facebook and TOS Live. Tonight is a special Shabbat. As the last few months, each week Shabbat has begun earlier and earlier, as the sun has set earlier and earlier, and the days have become shorter and the nights have become longer. But beginning this week, Shabbat starts a little bit later each week. And following the winter solstice, we're not going to be able to tell quite yet, but the days become a little longer and a little longer. And a few weeks ago, we had to do our part to bring more light into the world by celebrating Hanukkah and lighting the Hanukkah candles. But now the world does its part. And as the earth tilts on its axis, we get to enjoy the benefits of a little bit more light and a little bit more hope in the world. And so tonight, for me, is a very special Shabbat because we begin that ascent out of darkness. And even though we may not be able to tell quite yet that things are changing, they are slowly changing. And so we welcome in Shabbat together as night descends this evening. And Josh is going to lead us in the blessings, which are on page 2. And if you have candles at home and you'd like to join me, please join us in lighting the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechadlik
We continue on page 24, welcoming in Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mihim Helech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihim Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihim Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turn to page 17 in our prayer book, and we're going to sing together the final lines of Psalm 99 with a special melody that Josh is going to lead us in.
Oh, shucks, Rabbi Schaefer. Is it because maybe I wrote it? And it's so fun to sing with all of you, which I know you all know it. And there's a repeat after me part. So don't be shy. It's on Zoom, which means there's really no excuse for you not to be singing at the top of your lungs. So here we go. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtachavu, Veishtachavu, Lehar Kosho, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtachavu, Veishtachavu, Lehar Kosho, Ki Kadosh, Ki Kadosh, Ki Kadosh, oh, Ki Kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu, oh, Ki Kadosh, Ki Kadosh, Ki Kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtachavu, Veishtachavu, Lehar Kosho, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtachavu, Veishtachavu, Lehar Kosho.
Thank you, Josh. We turn now to the Chadodi, which can be found on page 20. And as we get ready to welcome in the Shabbat bride, I would like to send a special shout out to Saul and Doris. A little birdie told me that it was just your anniversary 2 days ago. And I remember fondly the story of how you met and how you courted each other and how beautiful it was. And I send you guys lots of love and warmth this Shabbat and wish you a very happy anniversary. We turn together. Doris, you want to say something? You can unmute. No. Okay, good. We're going to turn to L'Chadodi on page 20 and sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Yalalalai L'Chadodi, Yalalalai Likrat Kala, Yalalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelai, Yalalalai L'Chadodi, Yalalalai Likrat Kala, Yalalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelai, Shamor v'Zachor b'dibor echad, Yishmi'anu el hamichad, Adonai echad, U'shmo echad, L'shem Tiferet v'Lethilah, Yailai Yalalalai L'Chadodi, Yalalalai Likrat Kala, Yalalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelai, Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshava sing it out. Likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabla. Itoreri. Kiva Taveri, Yevod Adonai, Alayich Nikva, Yai Lai Lai, Yalalai Lechadoti, Yalalai Likakala, Yalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabla. Shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam B'Simcha, Uzola, Toch Emunei, Am Segula, Boi Kala.
Turn together to page 22 to sing a psalm of Shabbat. Before we begin, I just want to invite anybody who had a moment of wonder this week, a Ma Gadlu moment that they want to share with us, to unmute and to let us know what was so special about this week. Larry, please go ahead.
Denise and I were fortunate enough to see the convergence of Jupiter and Saturn this past week, and it was something very special, one of nature's great wonders.
That's amazing. Did anybody else get a chance to see that up in the sky? Yeah, Cheryl? That's great.
Yeah, California, we had beautiful sky, and I got pictures with Saturn's ring in my photo.
Wow.
My neighborhood was clear. Thank you.
It was
Karen,
extraordinary. I saw it, and I got a lot of people to watch it as well.
It's a very rare and special thing, and if you got a glimpse how incredible that is, and hopefully if not, you saw some of the photos that came up on the internet, and none of us will get a chance to see it again. So let's harvest that special energy of this convergence and bring that sense of wonder into singing Ma Gadlu on page 22.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Please sing any part you like. Magadu Masechaya Beyor Hamkumach Shivotecha
We turn to the Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach Le'alam ulamei amaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kedusha b'reichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'yimeru amen. As we turn to the call to the worship on page 28, I invite you to rise in body or spirit. And if you'd like to unmute yourself for the responsive line, you are welcome to do so. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Welcome to be seated. We're going to continue with a special prayer or special song by Noam Katz as we welcome in the evening.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel ol mipnei choshech. Just like Magadlu, these melodies stack on top of one another. So pick a part and sing it out, sing it out. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, v'choshech mipnei or, v'choshech mipnei or.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. I'd like to share with you a poem tonight by Rami Shapiro called Unending Love. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smile. We are loved by an unending love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We join together for the Shema on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'aderech Ushoch becha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseiti etchem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. Turn to page 40 to sing our song of redemption, Yichamocha. Turn now to Hashkivenu, our lullaby melody on page 42, which which means that after this, you're all welcome to go to sleep, get a nice good rest, and wake up refreshed tomorrow.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomrei Nu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomrei Nu lechaim Ushmor tzeteinu Lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Just go to sleep tonight. Everything's gonna be alright, yeah it will. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Go to sleep tonight. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomrei Nu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomrei Nu lechaim.
I'd like to stick with the theme for tonight and offer my Devar Torah a little early. Today is one of my favorite days of the year. Of course, it hasn't always been that way, but I have grown to love December 25th. And it's not just because there's a full day of NBA basketball or because I have an excuse to eat Chinese food, although both of those certainly don't hurt. It's because in my experience, December 25th is the quietest, most peaceful day in the year in America. Businesses are closed, people are at home, and the streets are quiet. Most of us are not getting emails or phone calls today. And thanks to today being a federal holiday, unless there's an emergency, we have a shared understanding that today is not a day for work. But we have other federal holidays, and they don't come close to the sense of stillness that I experience on this day. For me, December 25th is the closest I will come to the experience of Shabbat in Jerusalem while I'm living in this country. For those of you who have lived or traveled in Israel, you know that Shabbat in Israel's capital is a special experience. Businesses shut down, traffic becomes sparse, and the sounds of city life are replaced by chirping of birds, wishes of Shabbat Shalom, and the songs of Shabbat. Now, if you're trying to catch a cab or in need of groceries, this can be frustrating. But if you are trying to refresh yourself from a busy week, the collective cessation of activity and commerce is a blessing. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote that the seventh day is like a palace in time with a kingdom for all. It is not a date, but an atmosphere. Of course, it is easier to experience that atmosphere when the world around you is in sync with your holy times and stops with you. In this country, experiencing the stillness of Shabbat often feels like trying to stand still in a powerful river. It requires so much resistance to not go with the flow that it is actually hard to rest. But today we are lucky that in a way the religious and secular calendars align. The great writer and proponent of cultural Zionism, Ahad Ha'am, once said that more than the Jewish people have kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jews. In a moment, we will sing V'shamru, the prayer in our liturgy that reminds us to keep Shabbat. It teaches us that Shabbat is a covenant for all time, a sign between God and the people of Israel, holiness in time that has been present since the very beginning of creation. These words from the book of Exodus conclude with Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat Vayi Nafash. And on the seventh day, God ceased from work and was refreshed. But in Sefer HaBahir, an anonymous mystical work that is often attributed to a first century sage, Nehunya ben Hakana, we are told that we should not read Shabbat as a verb, but as the subject, the day of Shabbat. And do not construe the verb vayinafash as rested, but rather as refreshing souls. Thus the phrase may be read as Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash. On the seventh day, Shabbat refreshes all souls. How does Shabbat do this? Nehunya ben Hakana explains that Shabbat is like a fountain in the midst of a garden. When the fountain flows, the entire garden flourishes. We don't have to do anything. We just have to experience Shabbat. We have to be still. And thankfully, on this December 25th, the world around us is helping us do that. We turn together to page 44 to sing V'shamru, to be reminded of that covenant, of that sign for all time, and to allow the peace and rejuvenation of Shabbat to flow through us.
V'shamru l'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam brit olam V'shamru l'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam brit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam brit olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat.
Turn now to the Amidah, the central prayer in our liturgy. We rise in body or spirit, and we'll say the first three blessings together. We'll take a few moments of silence to offer our own private prayers, and Josh will bring us back with a prayer for peace. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'Azrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, lishenei afar, Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, u'midom melach, melech me'mit u'mechaye, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu chasela, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Take a few moments for our own private prayers.
Say shalom b'mromha, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, v'imru, Say shalom b'mromha, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yalele, 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 yalele,
turn for asking for peace for the world to asking for peace of body, mind, and spirit for our friends and family. We offer our prayer for healing, Mishaberach, which can be found on page 253. If you'd like to share the names of some loved ones in the chat, I have some names I'd like to share. And after I finish, if you'd like to unmute yourself and to say any of those names out loud, I'll invite you to do so. As a community tonight, we add the names of Zita Samuels, Linda Hoffman, Peter Feldman, Fishel Ben Yisrael, Hetty Feldman, Kate Bingham, Eileen Schwartz, Chava Esther Bar Chaya Rachel V'Chaim Yona, Sarah Robinson, Esther Neshama, Tammy Griffin, Richard and Margit Hershey, Karen Shea, Louise Maria Salamanca, Judith Rubenstein, Liesel Allen Marcia, Susan, Rebecca Gould, James Baldessari, Francine Roeder. And if there are any other names that people would like to share, please take a moment and unmute yourself and share their names with us tonight.
George Scott.
Thank you. Judy?
My friend Judy Goldberg. Also continued good health for my sister Donna Helper and her husband John Jacobic, and also my friend Lynn Stetson.
Thank you.
Amy Miller.
Thank you. We hold all of their names in our hearts, and we turn together to offer our prayer for healing on page 253.
Bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And let us say,
We wish them all a refuah shlema. As we move to the conclusion of tonight's service, I just want to share a few thank yous and announcements. I hope everybody, I'm so happy that everybody found their way here tonight at this early hour. I hope you had time for your Chinese food and a movie. And if you've indulged in these traditional Jewish delicacies, you'll share with us after services what you ordered and what you watched today. A big thank you to our music educator, Josh Cohen, for being here tonight. Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I understand you have two of your songs made it into a book a musical notation.
Yes,
so
one of
that
my songs did.
one-
But it's
one
all,
of your-
yeah, one of your songs did. Woo! Yes, it's my Ashrei, which is actually a Saturday morning prayer. So I haven't we haven't sung yet, but we'll get there. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm very excited. It's a compilation of Jewish kids music. So woo!
It's very, very exciting. We're very proud of you. And
Thanks.
if you want to join us tomorrow morning, we are having services at 10:30, joint service with Shir Chadash. And if you are interested in exploring this Torah portion by Yigash, we're going to focus on the 7th Aliyah, the very end of that story, as Jacob and his family are reunited with Joseph in Egypt. And we'll do a little exploration, and we'll have a chance to hear Torah chanted and to pray together. And that begins at 10:30 tomorrow on Zoom. On Wednesday night, I'll be teaching the second part in a class on birth order, healthy chaos. And everybody is welcome at 7 p.m. Whether or not you made it to the first session, please join us. And I think it's appropriate to mention tonight, thank you to Spence and all of the volunteers who helped raise $2,500 for our toy drive. That went to gift cards that bought gifts for kids all over the Boston area who woke up this morning and had presents. So I think that's a great thing to celebrate and to recognize on this morning. And thank you to everybody who's contributed to this synagogue throughout the year and supported our Circle of Giving campaign and our many campaigns to make it these services and all of our programs possible. We are incredibly grateful, and we hope you will join us in 2021 for a full slate of activities, including kicking off the new year with Shabbat services back at our normal time of 6 o'clock next Friday night. So we're going to move to the conclusion of tonight's service, and we turn to Aleinu, which can be found on page 282. Please rise and body your spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach laton hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelunote shemayim beyoser haaretz, Moshe vikaru bashamayim imal, ushchina tuzo b'vgoyim verumim, hu Eloheinu ein bod, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד
We honor tonight those that we have loved and lost in recent days and in years past. We turn to Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. And if you'd like to share the name of a loved one, I invite you to put their names in the chat, or in a moment after I've shared some names from our community, to unmute and to share their name with all of us tonight. As a synagogue, we remember Adelaide Rosen, the mother of Mitchell Rosen, Norma Weber, the mother of Karen Weber, Judy Mabel, a beloved congregant and friend to many people in our community, Eileen Frumkin, the mother of Peter Frumkin, and Sumner Chertok, the father of Rachel Kalmus. We add to those names the names of Alan Stark, Neil Spritz, Lillian Slater, Amy Naparstech, Doris Zeich. And if you'd like to share any names, please unmute and share their name with us this evening. Larry?
We just learned that Casey Jones passed away. Great Celtic player, great Celtic coach, and a true gentleman, true great human being.
Thank you. Diane? We can't hear you. Do you want to unmute and try one more time?
My father, Abe Rosen.
Thank you.
One
for
more
remembering.
reminder about what are we at 309,000 deaths from COVID across our country, and then how many millions across the globe.
Mhm. Thank you, Karen. We hold all of them in our hearts, and we turn to Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Please rise if it is your custom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yama divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudsha berechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, Chaim Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We move from sadness and memory to the sanctification of Shabbat. If you have some wine or grape juice and you want to share and saying Kiddush with us, we are on page 5 in our prayer books. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'havad v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahavad v'ratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Need to select a better vintage next week, I think. We move to conclude our service tonight with Eve Duet Hashem B'Simcha. I don't know if there's a page for that in our prayer book, Josh. Do you know?
I do not off the top of my head, although I think it is. If you go all the way back to the Mishkan, it's one of the songs that are in there, if I'm not mistaken. Heave duet Hashem b'simcha, heave duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. Heave duet Hashem b'simcha, heave duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. Did you find the page, Rabbi Schaefer?
No, but why don't you just tell us the words?
Yes. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha. Give you a chance to repeat that. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha. Bo lefanav bir nana. Lefanav bir nana. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha. Bo lefanav bir nana. Lefanav bir nana. And then we do some fun yellow eye, so I hope to see some twirling around. When I sung the song at camp, we'd all get a dance partner, and we'd swing around and we'd switch sides. So if you got a partner there, feel free. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. One more time. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet, page 340. Bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. Yilalai, 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 lai, 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 yilalai, 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 lai, 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 lai. Switch partners. Yilalai, 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 lai, 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 yilalai, 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 lai, 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 lai. All right, you got it now. Sing it out. Eve duet.
Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, Eve duet Hashem b'simcha, bo lefanav bir nana, lefanav bir nana. Yilalai, 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 lai, 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 yilalai, 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 lai, 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 lai. One more time. Yilalai, 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 lai, 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 yilalai, 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 lai, 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 lai.
Thank you, Josh. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to stop going live in a second, and feel free to stick around to schmooze